he's hit, and he's charging the mound.
Presentation of TBS Sports.
And he's hit, and he's charging the mound. Cangelosi goes after Smoltz. The bench is clear. Yep. Nailed it. And here we go. Todd Hundley trying to get a piece of Steve Avery. Fly ball, left center field. This one gone again. Drive to right, back to Georgia. The 3-2 pitch. Bring on the Yankees. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Listen to these people. After a 6-2 road trip. In the National League East, the New York Mets. Hi, everybody. Pete Van Weren welcoming you to Turner Field. Braves and the Mets' second meeting of the year. They split a 4-game series up in New York earlier this season. The Braves begin the night with a 5-game lead over the New York Mets. And, Don, they might be catching the New York Mets at just the right time. This is a banged-up ball club right now.
Seems like everybody in baseball has had injuries, the good clubs, but the Mets may have been bitten by that bug more than anybody else. A long list of people that are either on the disabled list or are listed as day-to-day. Kurt Abbott with the back. Edgardo Alfonso is the only one of that group that you're looking at that's not disabled. Consider this. Last year when the Braves saw the Mets, they had Robin Ventura at third. They had Ray Ordonez at short, Alfonso at second, and Olerud at first base. It is a completely revamped lineup. Because of all the injuries and the changes, it's Lenny Harris at third. He was with Colorado last year at this time before going to Arizona, before coming to the Mets. Melvin Mora was in the outfield. Joe McEwing was with the Cardinals, and Todd Zeile was with the Texas Rangers. Last year, Alfonso and Ordonez combined had 9 errors. Al Leiter had 4. Yeah, it's been a change all the way around, and they have suffered seemingly more than most. But the Braves can sympathize a little, but not too much. After all, they're looking at the middle of the infield. Last year, the Braves had Weiss and Boone when they saw the Mets. It's a 19-year-old rookie named Rafael Furcal and a perennial minor leaguer named Steve Sisko up the middle tonight.
And one change on the Braves roster. Catcher Paul Bacco has been claimed on the waiver list from the Florida Marlins. He has not yet arrived, so he has not yet been activated, but that will add a left-handed hitting catcher to the Braves when Bacco does get here. We'll talk more about that and bring you all the action from Turner Field right after this.
Station brought to you by MasterCard. MasterCard, proud sponsor of Major League Baseball and fan of the great American pastime. By NapaOnline.com, where everything great about Napa is now available online. By the Home Depot, America's home improvement coach. And by Claritin. It's a beautiful day. Talk to your doctor about Claritin.
3 sellouts expected here for the weekend as the Mets invade Turner Field for 3, and a lot more of you waiting at home to watch, we hope. We're glad you're there. Let's take a look at our America On lineups. For the Mets, Joe McEwing will lead it off. Derek Bell to bat second, Mike Piazza third. The heart of the order, Todd Zeile, Jay Payton, and Benny Agbayani. Melvin Mora, Lenny Harris, and Al Leiter will complete the lineup for Bobby Valentine. Defensively, Sanders in left, Jones in center, Jordan in right, the infield. Chipper Jones, Rafael Furcal on the left side, over on the right, Steve Sisko and Andres Galarraga. Javi Lopez is behind the plate, and on the mound, Terry Mulholland. Mulholland has had 6 ball games in which he's given up 6 or more runs. Each start after that has been a good one. He is a perfect 5-0, Pete. He's ready to go, and I'll bet you are too.
And it's Joe McEwing leading it off and taking ball 1 low and inside. McEwing getting the start at second base tonight in place of the injured Edgardo Alfonso. McEwing 253 with a couple of home runs on the year.
He'll be working with Dan Morrison behind the plate, Andrew Fletcher at first, Ed Rapuano at second, and Kerwin Danley down at third. That's the umpiring crew.
Here's the 1-0 now to McEwing, and he takes the strike. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. He'll be followed by Derek Bell and Mike Piazza, as Don was mentioning, an entirely restructured infield from a year ago, and 3 of the 4 spots restructured from this year. Normally it's Alfonso at second, Ordonez at short, Ventura at third. They're all down with injuries. Ordonez out for the year. Inside corner, 1-2 to Joe McEwing. McEwing, the handyman rookie for the Cardinals last year, played everywhere in the infield and outfield. Here's the 1-2 on the way.
I think there was a last-minute change in the Braves lineup, Pete. That's Bobby Bonilla in left field, so pencil him in. We'll assume, till we hear otherwise, that he will bat in Reggie Sanders' spot in the batting order. We weren't aware of that as we headed to air time.
We'll have to find out what that's all about. One and 2 on McEwing. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Got him with a fastball, up and away. Good start for Mulholland. Joe McEwing down on strikes, and that'll bring up Derek Bell. Bell having a good year. 305, 13 home runs, 57 RBIs. When the trade was made with the Houston Astros and the New York Mets, everybody thought Houston was going to miss Mike Hampton the most. And I'm sure they have missed him a little bit, but they may have missed this guy a little bit more in that new ballpark of theirs. It's a very offensive ballpark, and Houston, not quite the offensive team they were a year ago. Bobbled by Furcal. See if he can recover. He can. 2 gone.
His strong throwing arm may have saved him there, but as he gets older, I think you're going to see him slow his pace down a little bit. See, it's almost like everything is done in quick time. And the more reps he takes, the more plays that he makes, you'll see him get more and more comfortable.
2 men gone. Here's Mike Piazza having another outstanding offensive year. 347, 28 home runs, 81 runs driven in.
And boy, has he been hot against the Braves this year. In the 4 games against the Braves, 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. And remember that big home run we showed you in the Open up in New York.
Now the 0-1 from Mulholland on the way. Taken up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
We understand Reggie Sanders pulled a hamstring.
That must have happened very late, because that lineup was not changed 20 minutes before game time. Into center field, and Piazza has himself a 2-out single off Mulholland. You don't mind giving him that.
No, that's the kind of year he's having, too. He's so strong, he could take a pitcher's pitch and hit it somewhere in the outfield. But if Mike Piazza takes this kind of swing, you'll give him 4 of these swings all night. Every at bat, take one of those.
That'll be the first baseman Todd Zeile coming to the plate now. 301 for the year, a 9-game hitting streak. He's having a good year. 301, 15 homers. He's driven in 57 runs. Piazza at first. He won't get much of a lead with Mulholland out there. Nobody does. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the 1-0 on the way, and it's on the inside corner for a strike. That's about as short a lead as you will ever see an everyday player take down at first base. Every now and then you'll see a pitcher who's not used to being down there take a short lead.
Was it 1 full step?
Downstairs, the count 2-1. Mulholland with that terrific move to first and a very quick motion to the plate. And the combination of the two makes it almost impossible to steal a base. Only 1 has even been attempted when he's been on the mound this year, and that was unsuccessful. 2-1. High chopper third. Chipper Jones near the bag, on to first in time. And a good start for Terry Mulholland. The 2-out single by Mike Piazza is all he allows. We go to the bottom of the first. No score.
He's what every boy wants to be growing up, and what every man wishes he was when he's old. Top Gun.
You are the top 1% of all naval aviators. We'll make you better.
Got 2 bigs dead ahead. I got him there. One big pass in between us.
You are America's best.
Make us proud.
Push the sound barrier with Tom Cruise in Top Gun. Tomorrow night at 8, one of the Saturday night new classics on TNT.
Duralube Advanced Engine Treatment is uniquely formulated and designed to protect your car's engine. Sure, Duralube Advanced Engine Treatment has its imitators. Hey, we're even flattered by it. Remember, the car you choose is your business. The way it runs is ours. Duralube Advanced Engine Treatment. Imitated, but never duplicated. Duralube, available at these and other fine stores everywhere.
Men, do you want to see your abs and increase muscle definition? Women, how would you like a toned body with cellulite-free hips and thighs? Turn these visions into reality with the best-selling video, Fitness Made Simple, hosted by fitness celebrity John Bastow.
In 8 weeks, I totally transformed my body from this to this. Fitness Made Simple worked for me, and it can work for you too.
Order Fitness Made Simple by calling toll-free and be on the way to building the body of your dreams.
Eddie Perez is one of the best seats in the house, taking in the game, and here's the lineup that his Braves will run out there. It's Rafael Furcal to lead it off. Andrew Jones will bat second. Chipper will hit third. The heart of the batting order: Brian Jordan, Andres Galarraga, and Javi Lopez. Bobby Bonilla in left field will hit seventh. The leading place hitter is Steve Cisco. And Jerry Mulholland will complete the batting order. Here's that revamp lineup we were talking about. A completely changed outfield of Akbayani, Payton, and Bell. A completely revamped infield of Harris and Mora on the left, McEwen and Zeal on the right. The constant is Mike Piazza behind the plate. And Al Leiter's had himself a good year. Got off to a roaring start. Last 2 outings not so good. That's the first time this year he has lost consecutive outings. And his last performance against the Braves, something he will remember. 7 innings, 12 strikeouts. He came out on top in that one, and he is a competitor.
Yeah, one of the things that tells you about what kind of an effort you're going to get out of Al Leiter in big games, he has made 10 career starts against the Atlanta Braves, and he has gotten a decision in all 10 of them. And a good earned run average. He's 5-5 with a 2.74 ERA lifetime against Atlanta.
Likes to bore the fastball in on right-handed hitters. A cut fastball. And he comes right at you, keeps throwing strike after strike. Only 47 walks, 118 strikeouts in 126 innings.
Rafael Furcal will lead things off, then Andrew Jones, then Chipper Jones. Rafael with his usual greeting to the plate umpire and the catcher. He's very, very polite. He
looked right at Piazza's navel and said, hello, Mr. Piazza.
Furcal, 291, no homers, 16 RBIs. Playing shortstop tonight, Walt Weiss went to have some further examination on that knee, which he re-injured in the game last night in Florida. It's not believed to be a serious injury. There's a ground ball, left side, deep short. Mora, long throw. Did he get him? No. Furcal beat the throw by Mora, an infield single to start things in the bottom half of the first.
I wonder if he had been out if Todd Zeal hadn't dropped the ball. They're debating that issue. That's a heck of a play by Mora and a strong throw. Watch how far he throws this ball. And then Zeal drops it trying to take it out. I think he beat it on a bang-bang play.
It goes as a base hit, and Andrew Jones steps in. 305 for the year, 25 home runs, and 61 RBIs. And we have just received word, Don, that if a certain individual approves, there may be someone new playing shortstop for the New York Mets tomorrow afternoon.
A veteran type-like player?
The New York Mets have worked out a deal with the Cincinnati Reds to acquire Barry Larkin. It is subject to the approval of Barry Larkin. And if he says it's a go, he'll be at shortstop for the Mets in all likelihood tomorrow. So Barry Larkin headed to New York. The New York Yankees have just made a deal with the Chicago Cubs to acquire outfielder Glenn Allen Hill in exchange for 2 minor leaguers. They've been looking for someone to replace the injured Shane Spencer. So both New York teams vying for tabloid front page space. I think the Mets may have won that one if Larkin is the guy that's coming over. He has to approve it. It's not done yet until Barry Larkin says it is. But the elements on both ends of the deal have been worked out if Larkin gives his okay. Over to first and back safely is Furcal. 16 steals, caught 5 times.
Rumor has it that two prospects will go to the Cubs, and it's the same 2 they offered for Rondell White, but I guess Montreal turned it down.
Into left field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Furcal will stop at second as Agbayani quickly gets the throw toward third. So back-to-back singles by Furcal and Jones have the Braves in business here in the bottom of the first.
Andrew Jones is getting more hits off pitches that he's seemingly fooled on this year because he's waiting back. See, he doesn't get way out on the front foot on an off-speed pitch down in a strike zone. Retains his weight, still able to get good wood on it.
Now Chipper Jones, a .316 average for the year, 24 homers, 73 RBIs. It was in these matchups last year between the Braves and the Mets that Chipper Jones really excelled. He has 2 career homers and 26 at-bats against Leiter. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first. Right through there for a called strike. I was just reading on the wire earlier today, Don, back to Barry Larkin for a moment, that Ken Griffey Jr. got in the middle of all that. He offered to reduce his salary and have it extended 10-15 years down the line
if they would up the ante.
If they would up the ante to keep Barry Larkin. Time called by plate umpire Dan Morrison.
Well, this may open up there have been all kinds of rumors, but usually it takes 1 or 2 to get it started, and then it's like the dominoes lined up. They seem to fall in place. A lot of talk about the Dodgers were interested in Larkin, but they're also interested in trying to add a quality starting pitcher.
What you wonder about this particular deal, if it gets approved by Larkin, I would guess that if I'm Barry Larkin and I decide I'm going to take the deal, I'm going to want that same kind of a contract. Pickoff down at second, back safely is for Call. I'm going to want that same kind of a contract that I was asking for in Cincinnati. And the Mets have Ray Ordonez coming back, who's probably the best defensive shortstop in the National League.
Does that mean that the Mets have taken themselves out of the A-Rod shopping list?
If it's a rent-a-player kind of a situation where they just want Larkin for the rest of the year, he may not approve that. He may not approve that unless there's a contract attached to it. We'll have to wait and see. 2-1 the count now on Chipper Jones.
Oh, there's a whole lot of ifs and buts. If they get him, then he might be receptive to moving someplace else, and that Ordonez could be in a package for A-Rod. Who knows?
2-1 on Chipper
though,
Jones. We certainly are getting some activity this year in the trading period.
Everybody plays fantasy baseball. Why can't we play fantasy general manager?
2-2 now on Chipper Jones. Braves, as we mentioned, acquiring a catcher today. That was not a trade. That was just a claim off the waiver wire. Paul Bacco, a left-hand hitting catcher, coming to the Braves from the Florida Marlins for the waiver price. He had not arrived at game time, so no roster move made yet. The 2-2, grounded foul, still 2-2 on Chipper Jones, and that opens up the question. All that Florida was carrying in the way of catchers were Bacco and Mike Redmond, but there were a lot of rumors when we were down in Florida the last couple of days that the Marlins were talking about maybe going out and trying to get Charles Johnson back there to handle that young pitching staff. I wonder if that's in the works.
Boy, that would make so much sense. You know my feelings on having a quality catcher with young pitchers. You have to.
Marlins are in here next. We may know by then.
I think that you see a lot of ball clubs have potentially good young pitchers and then turn over their catchers every year and turn over pitching coaches. I think you have to get a catcher there, or 2 catchers really, that you can stick with if you're going to build a young pitching staff. Let them get to know each other.
Here's the 2-2 now to Chipper. Just missed inside. 3-2. Brian Jordan on deck. Bobby Valentine, the manager of the New York Mets. He is wondering if his contract will be renewed. It's up at the end of this year. And he apparently has been told that there will be no discussions on that subject until the year is over. Runners on the move. 3-2 pitch. Foul back. Still 3-2. Braves and Mets split that 4-game series up in New York about a month ago.
And that was advantage Braves because you burned 4 days off the calendar and there was no harm done in the standings. And I think the only way, this is a matchup of two very competitive teams who love to battle each other, but the only way I think this is that big is if one or the other sweeps.
Strike three. The throw to second base will not be in time. It's a double steal. Andrew Jones getting to second. Rafael Furcal to third. For Andrew, his 9th steal. For Furcal, his 17th. Chipper Jones down in strikes, 1 gone, and the batter will be Brian Jordan.
They stayed in on Chipper Jones. Came right back in with a cut fastball. And Piazza chose to go to second. I don't even think that Harris was covering at third, so they already had their mind made up that that's where the throw was going to go.
Here's Jordan now trying to break out of a little bit of a slump. Only 3 for 24 on the road trip. 282 now for the year. Infield stays back with runners second and third. Pitch in on Bryan, ball 1. Braves have really dominated the Mets the last couple of years. 9-3 against them last year. 9-3 against them in '98. Of course, they won the National League Championship Series 4 games to 2 last year. So while the Mets have been the team that's been knocking at Atlanta's door each of the last 3 years, in the head-to-head meetings, the Braves have taken care of business. Up the middle and through, base hit center field. Furcal scores. Andrew Jones heading home. Here's the throw. He's safe. And down to second goes Brian Jordan. 2-0 Atlanta. RBIs number 53 and 54 for Jordan.
There was a lot going on this. Up the middle, Leiter thinks he should have had it and probably should have. But once the play is made, here comes the throw to the plate. A swipe tag by Piazza. Andrew Jones sees no call by Dan Morrison. There is no call. Piazza didn't catch that. Here's the swipe tag. Off the plate goes Andrew. No call by Morrison yet. No call. I think I better tag it. That's alert.
Now Andres Galarraga. Jordan down at second. Still only 1 out. Galarraga 297, 21 homers. In his hands, 1 ball, no strikes. Three hits in the inning, good for 2 runs. And another runner down in scoring position with only 1 out. Pitch is grounded foul off to the left, 1 ball, 1 strike. It is only July, and there will be a lot more baseball played this year, including 2 more series between the Braves and the Mets, 1 here and 1 in New York. But if you're a team like the New York Mets, who have really been trying for 3 years to catch the team that you're playing right now, and you go into their city for a 3-game series, you almost have to take 2 out of 3.
Yep.
If you lose ground in a series like this, if anything, it plays on your mind, as well as on your distance that you have to go to catch the front-running team.
And the best you could do with 2 out of 3 is get within 4.
Yeah.
You almost, in order to make a statement, have to sweep. Because it really doesn't cost the Braves anything but 3 days unless they get swept. And you're looking at a ball club that hasn't exactly lit it up here at Turner Field. They've lost 13 out of their last 14.
That's foul off to the left, 2-2 now on Galarraga.
Only 4 wins and 18 ball games here against the Braves at Turner Field.
And if you're that man, the last thing that you were hoping would happen in the very first inning of the very first game is you've got your ace out there on the mound, and he's in trouble already. You've already got a revamped lineup that may not be as strong offensively as the one you normally run out there. So you're really counting on a guy like Leiter to have a big game. And he hasn't been sharp at all in this first inning. 3-2 now on Galarraga.
And it's already been a game of inches. I know that's a cliche that we overwork sometime, but he was a half an inch from making the play. And if Piazza spots Dan Morrison, the home plate umpire, before Andrew Jones does, he's out at the plate.
He also had that bang-bang play at first, and Rafael Furcal opened the inning. That's John Stearns on the phone. I can't imagine that would be the bullpen phone already.
I don't think they have one of those eye-in-the-sky scouts here.
Here's the 3-2. In the air, right center field. Payton going back. Bell coming over. Payton making the call on the catch. Tagging is Jordan. He'll move over to third. And there are 2 outs now with a runner at third for Javi Lopez. Lopez comes in a hot hitter. 299 for the year, 14 home runs, an 8-game hitting streak, where he's gone 15 for 29, batting over 500 during the streak, and looks about as comfortable at the plate right now as we've ever seen him.
Since the ball just looks big to him, he'll go through some stretches where he'll chase everything thrown up there, but one of the things he's done in this streak is be more selective, and the second thing is when he's gotten his pitch low, middle, in, he hasn't missed it. He's whistled a lot of balls past third baseman during this stretch.
Takes a strike from Leiter, 0-1. Javi 4 out of 17 with 1 homer lifetime against Leiter. Right off the hand, straight up in the air. Piazza back near the screen and runs out of room. That's about as close as you can get to being on the field and not being on it. Landed in that well down there where the radar guns and our home plate cameras are. Wayne Barry manning the home plate camera.
And doing a good job of getting out of the way.
0-2 the count. A lot of ballparks, that's an out. Not much space behind home plate here at Turner Field. Down and strikes Lopez. He went up and away to get him. But the Braves score 2, and the Brian Jordan single take a 2-0 lead into the top half of the second.
Surface contact bearing 190. Dive! Big throw to quiet engine track.
Mark, why is Grandma eating off the ironing board?
Why not?
This is a kitchen table, not a desk.
It's both now, and Dad's got a schedule for that.
Dinner's at 11.
Ish.
Marky, go work in your room.
There's no desk up there, and I can't stay awake. I just get in bed, it's like, out.
Would you like a room with a nice big workspace?
Great.
What's this look like? A Holiday Inn?
Hey, Grandma.
Want a room with room to work? Holiday Inn gives you more, and more is better.
While there are a lot of places where people buy parts for their car, the fact is more people choose AutoZone than any other. It's because we're the largest auto parts retailer in America, and they save money with our everyday low price. It's because more often than not, we have the part they need in stock. And it's because we're the place where they'll find a battery that's backed by a 3-year free replacement guarantee. Which is why we say there's just no place better than AutoZone.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
It is 2-0 Atlanta. Jay Payton, Benny Agbayani, and Melvin Mora do up against Terry Mulholland. We can tell you that Paul Bacco has arrived. He was out warming up Mulholland while Javi Lopez was donning the catcher's gear after making the last out.
Look at that. Our camera people have their own fan club.
Well, they should.
They are the best.
Jay Payton will start things here. The center fielder finally coming into his own this year. 295. He has 9 homers.
But it wasn't without a little controversy because he openly expressed the opinion that he was getting buried and not getting the opportunity. And I think he went up the ladder a little ways to express that opinion, too.
Two players that are in the starting outfield tonight did that. Payton and Agbayani, the left fielder. 0-1 the count.
Well, Bobby Valentine has never been without controversy. Even as a player, he was very outspoken and in the middle of a lot of activity.
1 ball, 1 strike.
There are a lot of people who think that he could have been an outstanding ball player had he not tangled with the fence at what was then known as Anaheim Stadium and broke his ankle and never really recovered from it.
Oh, it was set incorrectly.
That's right.
He had to go and have it
broken and
worked on, and second time he tried to make a couple of comebacks in the minor leagues, and he just was never the same player.
Boy, was he a talented athlete. Could have, they say he could have started at the big leagues in one of 3 or 4 positions.
Count goes to 3-1 on Jay Payton. It'll be Greg Maddux against Rick Reed tomorrow, then Andy Ashby against Bobby Jones on Sunday. The Sunday game, a night game now. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Right back over the mound, charging it for call. He's got a great arm and gets him. Only the arm of Rafael Furcal makes that play. 1 away.
He throws this ball with both feet in the air on the run and gets some heat on it. Good call down there by Andrew Fletcher, right on top of it.
And Payton runs well. You've really got no time to think about things when you're making a play on Jay Payton heading down the first base line. Here's Agbayani now, 307 with 7 home runs, takes a strike, 0-1.
You're talking about Bobby Valentine, Pete. Walter Alston is legendary in his managerial abilities, but one of the things that he never really got enough credit for.
Off the glove of Mulholland. Here's Furcal again. Barehanded grab to first. Got him again. Time call. Jeff Porter heading out to see if Terry Mulholland's all right.
Let's see where it gets him. Right back up the middle and off the heel. It looked like off the heel of the glove and maybe on the wrist. The only chance of making the play, make the bare hand pickup and throw in one motion. See if we can see where it catches him on the wrist. Couldn't see it from that angle, but it looked like it got a little leather, but not a lot.
2 outstanding plays by Rafael Furcal. Terry Mulholland says he's all right. And Melvin Mora will be the batter. Mora, who's been playing short since Ray Ordonez went down, hitting .260 with 6 homers. This might be his last night at shortstop for a while if Barry Larkin says yes to the deal.
Mora's the guy that made me think of the Walter Alston story because he's an outfielder who came into the infield. There was one time in spring training when Walter Alston was looking at Bobby Valentine, Davy Lopes, and Bill Russell. And he said, there are 3 of the best center fielders I've ever seen. And at that time, they were all outfielders. And he said, who will play in the big leagues in the middle of the infield. And they were in Class A ball at the time. So that is a remarkable gift. And those are, you see good baseball people who can see a talented person doing a good job, but picture them even better. And Bobby Valentine probably would have been a major league all-star somewhere up the middle.
2-1 pitch, in for a strike, 2-2 on Mora. And the 2-2 on the way, foul back. Well, I remember when Valentine was playing, there was a player back in the 40s for the Brooklyn Dodgers named Pete Reeser, who always kept getting hurt because he just played all out all the time. And that's who you kept hearing Valentine being compared to.
Never met a wall he wouldn't run into. Well, he was a good high school football player, too, so he was used to the banging around.
2-2 has popped up into shallow right field. Should be easy for Brian Jordan. He's got it. And it's a 1-2-3 second inning for Terry Mulholland. So far, so good for the Braves left-hander, going for his 10th win tonight. 2-0 Atlanta.
Now that Napa Auto Parts and accessories are available online, have we suddenly become hipper? Well, maybe a little. NapaOnline.com, where the world's largest inventory of ready-to-ship parts and expert advice you depend on in our stores, are now available online around the clock. And if something isn't right, you can ship it back or return it to your participating Napa store and we'll make it right. Actually, this is pretty hip.
You're on Love Matters. When love matters, I'm here to help. Dave?
Yeah, I'm having this problem with my girlfriend. It's kind of involved.
Diarrhea. Get it, and you want it gone.
You're a really good listener, you know.
He needs
I really
Imodium AD.
appreciate-
Imodium Advanced. It's even better.
Only Imodium Advanced relieves diarrhea plus cramps and bloating by combining 2 medicines, and it's even faster than Imodium AD.
So was I right to invite my mom along on my honeymoon?
Oh, Dave, absolutely.
Imodium Advanced. Faster relief you can count on.
Remember Jared, he lost 245 pounds on his own diet, which included Subway's low-fat sandwiches and lots of walking. Well, it's been a year, so let's see how he's doing.
Looking buff, Jared.
Way to go, Jared! I guess that answers our question. Thanks to 7 Subway sandwiches with 6 grams of fat or less, and laying off the burgers and fries, Jared's looking pretty good. He's still a Subway fan and a true inspiration to dieters everywhere. Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
There's our score heading to the bottom of the second inning. Braves on top 2-0. Joining us tonight, believe it or not, at Turner Field is Dean Cain. He is host of Ripley's Believe It or Not. I'm sure you've seen that. That is a terrific show. It airs Wednesdays at 8:05 right here on TBS Superstation. And there will be all new shows, Pete, believe it or not, starting August the 2nd. And there have been some good ones. They come across some strange things and some really interesting stuff. He does a good job with that show, too.
Well, here's Bobby Bonilla. Last-minute insert into the Braves starting lineup. 268, 4 homers, 20 RBIs. Talk about being in a different situation than you were a year ago. We talked about the New York Mets infield being completely revamped. The Braves middle of the infield, a complete change. How about Bobby Bonilla? He was in a Mets doghouse almost all of last year. Now he's in the Braves penthouse on top of the National League East. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, he had Madeline Albright trying to negotiate his release last year this time.
1-1 the count. You know how much he'd like to have a good series. Upstairs, 2-1.
A little bit of a difference in the numbers going up there, too. Right now hitting .268 for the Braves. Last year only a .160 for the Mets.
He's 3 out of 5 lifetime against Leiter with a homer. 2-2 the count of Bonilla. That's the pitch that Leiter has so much success against right-hand batters. He bores that thing right in on their hands.
That's a high-risk, high-reward pitch. You keep boring it in there. As long as you keep it in there, it's going to be hard to hit. But if you miss out a little bit, that's a pitch that the hitter can get the barrel of the bat on. These 2 guys were teammates in the halcyon days of the Florida Marlins, too.
3-2. Fouled back, still 3-2. And both good guys. Al Leiter, in fact, just won another award for civic responsibility and character. Presented the Good Guy Award by the Sporting News. It'll be featured in the July 31st issue of that magazine. He has already received the Branch Rickey Award, the Joan Payson Award, and the Thurman Munson Award for his community work.
That's the Grand Slam, I think, isn't it?
I believe that is.
That's the Good Guy Grand Slam.
Bonilla out of there on strikes. May have set a distance record where that bat wound up. Second strikeout for Leiter. And Steve Cisco getting a start at second base tonight. 2 for 9 as a major leaguer. He came up earlier this year. One of those 2 hits, a home run in Philadelphia that won a game for Atlanta. Then he had to go back to AAA. And now he swings at the first pitch, a little pop-up, caught by Mora. Cisco was hitting .274 at Richmond with 9 homers. Great story. A 30-year-old rookie who was in his 6th year of AAA ball, 9th year in the minor leagues, before getting his first taste of major league action. Now Terry Mulholland having a good year at the plate. .257. 9 for 35. with 3 doubles. Well, this will be an easy inning for Leiter. Braves go quietly in the second. Still 2-0 as we head to the third.
Performing at my best uses up nutrients.
New Centrum Performance helps replace them with more key B vitamins plus ginseng and ginkgo.
It helps energize my mind and body. Life's demanding, but I thrive on it.
Centrum Performance. Life demands it.
Follow the Bonanza, an extravaganza. It's how you save on tires. Now at Pep Boys, all 35,000-mile tires are 4 for only $99, and all 70,000-mile tires 4 for $169.
Pep Boys.
Cars like us.
People love us. On July 28th, lock your doors.
Well, hello there, stripper man.
Drop your drawers. And dive in. Because the Nutty Professor is bigger than ever. I'm not that kind of guy. Hey, that ain't right. Eddie Murphy.
This is something scary.
Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, July 28th in theaters everywhere.
Action.
Do I go now?
Action.
Greetings, television viewers.
And cut. Is that all?
Free internet deck.
And cut.
That was take 10.
Greetings, television viewers. Bob's taking a break from his spokesperson role in order to do some directing. So, freeinternet.com has asked that I fill in. Have a wonderful day. How was that? Oh, boy.
Top of the third, Braves on top 2-0. Good time for us to take a look at our Office Depot scoreboard. It was the Cubs over the Brewers this afternoon. Wood won that one. Pittsburgh got 4 in the first off Paul Bird. Montreal got 3 in the first off of the Florida Marlins. Cincinnati and Arizona trading runs early in that one. Everything else in the National League coming up a little bit later on. Over in the American League, Boston on top of the White Sox by 2. O'Leary and Sprague both homered for the Red Sox. Kansas City shutting out Detroit. Yankees over Tampa Bay 4-1. Baltimore leads Toronto. Cleveland and Minnesota just underway. Anaheim at Oakland. And Texas at Seattle. Log on to CNNSI.com. It's Sports Illustrated CNN Speed. You can keep up with all those games and stay on top of this one if you choose to walk away from your TV set for a while. And that's the scoreboard. Here's Lenny Harris playing third in place of the injured Robin Ventura. Fouling one off, 1 ball, 1 strike. He's only hitting .195 this year with a couple of homers and 16 RBIs. Ventura has a injury to his right rotator cuff and is on the disabled list. That was not only affecting his throwing, it was affecting his swing. And you could see that, too, because he was missing pitches right down the middle. And the Braves just completely dominated him up in that series in New York. Here's the 2-1 now to Lenny Harris. Inside 3-1. We've got some further information on the potential Barry Larkin trade. The principals have been agreed to in a deal for Barry Larkin. And there is a 72-hour period for Barry Larkin to decide. So maybe he won't be here as early as tomorrow. There's a base hit to right by Lenny Harris. Hit number 2 off Mulholland. Harris continues his good hitting since he was put in place of Ventura in 4 games, now hitting close to 400. And that 72 hours, I'm sure, will include contacts between Barry's agent and the New York Mets over what are your plans beyond October for my shortstop. Here's Al Leiter. I was about to say Al Leiter's up there to bunt, but Terry Mulholland's too quick even to get that out. He almost picked Lenny Harris off. Leiter just 3 for 35. He has 4 sacrifices this year. This is not his strong point, hitting or bunting. Snap throw again Harris back. Yeah, I think Al was much more comfortable in the American League. That's where you can really help yourself, though. You get a chance to get 1 back, maybe, if you lay down a good bunt. That's not good bunting for him. 0-1. Look at him get right back in there, though. In practice. He grinds it at this, though, like he does everything. Yeah, he does. And he is very aware that this is not his strong point, and he pokes a lot of fun at himself. Although Well, while he's in there, he's doing his level best to get this bunt down. And he does. Toward third, Chipper Jones' only play will be to first. So Leiter gets the job done. Lenny Harris down to second. We'll go back to the top of the order now, and Joe McEwing.
That was a good bunt. He didn't try to make a perfect bunt. He looked like he just tried to get the bat on it. It ended up making a perfect bunt. I think a lot of times, especially pitchers, foul up sacrifices trying to make perfect bunt. Where if you got any speed at all at first base, if you don't one-hop it to a player charging, you got a chance of getting him down there.
Now McEwing, who led off the game by striking out.
There are some odd batting stances and styles in baseball. Now, here's one that I don't think you will find taught at the 11-year-old level. His belt buckle is almost pointed toward Terry Mulholland the whole time. Shades of Dick Wirt in the other batter's box, huh? Wasn't he the guy, or was it McAuliffe or Wirt? One of them pointed the right foot.
That was McAuliffe.
For the Tigers.
McEwing last year, the Cardinals played almost every game. 275, 9 homers, 44 RBIs. And he played every position except pitch and catch. Started at second base, in center field, in left field, in right field, at first base, and filled in at shortstop and third base defensively.
And with the Cardinals, the Braves played him as a dead right field hitter. A lot of motion that he goes through to get the bat in play. And they're giving him the left field line, and Brian Jordan now playing shallow and right, so they're not expecting him to pull Terry Mulholland. If he pulls a pitch, it'll be an off-speed pitch because that defense, I think, as we told you before, is set off the fastball.
Out of play, 2-1. He's another guy who spent a long time in the minor leagues working his way to this level. 7 years in the Cardinal chain. And even had to go back to AAA this year. The Mets, after they acquired him, had a numbers problem. And he was one of the players with options left, so he started out this year in AAA.
I read he was a little surprised when he was traded from St. Louis, too.
Count goes to 3-1.
But his being traded might have been a part of the ripple effect for the Cardinals getting Fernando Vina. Yeah, I think I'd be surprised after having a 20-game hitting streak for a ball club. 25.
Foul away, full count. He was a very popular player in St. Louis.
With everybody, his teammates, his coaches, and everybody that came to support the Cardinals.
Full count, 3-2. Runner at second. And one out here in the third. Pass Chipper Jones. That'll get Harris home. And that cuts the lead in half. It's 2-1.
And if you're Al Leiter, you should be patting yourself on the back over there now. That you get half an RBI for that. If he doesn't get the bunt down, chances are they're just at first and second, and everything is different. Cut fastball coming in on him. Instead of being out away the way the defense is set, that's one he can pull. Gets it past Chipper Jones, but the bunt set all of this up.
For McEwing, his 14th RBI of the year. Now Derek Bell, who grounded out to short his first time. 2-1 Atlanta now. Still only one out of the inning. Foul territory. Galarraga coming over near the box seats and makes the catch. Good play. He had to contend with a ball that had a little bit of slice to it, with a rolled up tarp over there.
And then it started drifting down the right field line away from him. The adjustment that he'll make right there to make the catch. When the ball goes up down the right field line, it heads toward the stands. But as it starts coming down, that same spin that when it's going up takes it that way is going to take it back to the field and take it back toward right field.
2 outs in the inning. Here's Piazza. Single his first time up. One of the best offensive catchers in the history of the game. And, of course, just prior to the All-Star game, involved in that beaning facing Roger Clemens, which drew so much ire from teammates and management for the New York Mets.
And the Mets still convinced that that was a deliberate act.
Fouled away, 2-1. Piazza suffered a concussion, caused him to miss the All-Star game. He was the leading vote getter in the National League and was scheduled, among other things, to pick up a big trophy for that.
Well, every place we went on that last road trip, in the pregame videos, he was the focal point of all of the videos and getting high praise from such folks as Carlton Fisk and Johnny Bench. That's a pretty good fan club to have, isn't it, talking about you?
It's really a remarkable story, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. Piazza was drafted only as a favor. Bounces one over Chipper Jones' head into left field. Around second, McEwing. He heads for third. Bonilla's throw will come back to second. And Piazza aboard with his second hit of the night. First and third now with 2 outs for Todd Zeile.
Not that risky of a play for McEwing because he's got the ball in front of him. Beats down on it. He's strong enough to get these kind of hits. Over the head of Chipper Jones, but McEwing sees all along what's going on, and if you're Bobby Bonilla, the worst mistake you could have made there would be to try to throw him out. Now all of a sudden the runner goes to second, and a base hit took place too, and you eliminate one other way of getting an out on a ground ball.
Piazza, a 62nd round draft pick when he was chosen by the Dodgers as a favor to Tommy Lasorda.
Yep. Who is his godfather, I think, isn't he?
Right.
Knows the family well and said, you got to take him, and they did.
0-1 on Zeile. He grounded out the third his first time up.
Well, I guess it's not an exact science, is it?
Oh, no. In the dirt, gets away from Lopez, out toward Mulholland, tried to flip it with his glove, but into scores McEwing. And we're tied at 2. Lopez couldn't handle it. It caromed out toward Terry Mulholland. He tried to come in and just pick it up with his glove and flip it home. Unable to do so. And the wild pitch makes it a 2-2 game.
You hardly ever see this happen. Javi Lopez tried to play it off his chest, put the glove down, but it hit him so hard that it bounced out in front. That ball almost always stops right at the plate, but because he was a curveball and spinning forward, it just climbed right up his arm. The only chance Mulholland has was that risky play.
2-1 now on Zeile. Piazza down at second. The game is tied 2-2.
See, that's what you want to happen. That's what's supposed to happen on a ball in the dirt. When you just spread out and take it off your chest protector.
3-1 now on Todd Zeile. Inside corner. Missed inside. That's the first walk issued by Mulholland.
And that's no surprise either. He's in the top 5 in the National League in fewest walks per 9 innings.
Needs to get it out here to limit the damage in this inning. Jay Payton, the batter, he grounded out to short his first time. Back where he first really began attracting a lot of attention when he was playing right here in Atlanta at Georgia Tech. On the same team with Nomar Garcia-Parra and Jason Varitek. In fact, he was the most highly thought of the 3. In for a strike. Game tied at 2 with 2 outs and runners at first and second. On a play, 0-2. It's taken Payton a while to make it up here, but he really had some injury problems. It caused him to miss a lot of time in the minor leagues. Didn't play at all in the 1997 season. He had a ligament tear in his right elbow. Into right field toward the corner. Brian Jordan on the run in foul territory, unable to get it.
And he paid a price for that effort, too. He's going to pay a price with a skinned elbow and a banged-up chest and knee, and the crowd appreciating his effort. Ball slicing away from him. That's why he couldn't quite get to it, off the tip of his glove. Here's a look at how far he had to go. He was shaded that way a little bit, but that's a long skid on a hard surface. And remember, he's already got a few little nagging things bothering him.
Again, the 0-2. A little further into foul territory. This one up into the crowd. Still 0-2 on Jay Payton. He's had elbow surgery. He's had shoulder surgery. All while in the minor leagues. Got off to a very fast start. His first 2 years in pro ball, he won batting titles. One in the New York Penn League and one in the Eastern League. Another 0-2 pitch to Payton. Another foul ball off to the right.
Brian Jordan's looking in saying, pull the ball, will you?
What's happened to the pull hitter in baseball? You hardly ever see a true pull hitter anymore.
Well, they're finding out now with all of the training and strength programs and a little shortage of pitching, they could hit it just as far the other way.
Outside of Mark McGuire and Barry Bonds, trying to think of another guy in the National League anyway that has played as a pull hitter. Into right center, Piazza rounding third. He'll score. Mets lead it 3-2. An 0-2 pitch. Payton driving in his 30th run of the year. He was going that way all during that at-bat.
Yes, he was. Fighting everything, reaching out to hit it that way, but fighting it off if it was coming in on him. Another ball, Holland cut fastball that he missed a little ways, but he got it on the inside corner. There's your base hit to the opposite field.
So the Mets, who fell into a 2-0 hole in the very first inning, have turned things right around here in the third, lead at 3-2. And here's Benny Agbayani. Hit that bouncer up the middle. It deflected off Mulholland out to short, where Furcal made a nice play.
I think the pull hitter left with the handshake. They both left about the same time.
It used to be almost automatic. A right-hand hitter coming to the plate, everybody moved a little more toward the left because he was a right-hand batter. And was probably going to pull the ball. Now it's just the opposite. You get a right-hand batter up there, everybody moves, in the outfield anyway, toward right field.
And I think the more sophisticated defenses, and the Braves maybe do it more than anybody else, is that they play them to pull on the ground and play them the other way in the air.
John Burkett up in the Atlanta bullpen already.
And the logic is he's going to roll over a breaking ball, but he will hit a high fastball the other way, or hit the fastball the other way.
1 ball, 1 strike on Agbayani.
Every time I see him and I look at his bio, he's from Hawaii, but came to the mainland to play wide receiver in college on a football scholarship. I'd like to be a cornerback staring at that.
Here's the 1-1. 2-1, the count now, and Agbayani. He's got to be that big so he can fit his name on the back of his uniform. If you're going to have a name that long, you got to have wide shoulders.
You got to be big. That's right.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
He was headed to Oregon Tech to play wide receiver, and then decided to go back to Hawaii Pacific and stay over there and go to school, which makes me think he's a very intelligent kid.
Leo Mazzoni checking on Burkett's progress down in the Atlanta bullpen. Agbayani, the 8th man to bat in the inning. And there will be a 9th man to bat in the inning. Melvin Mora will come to the plate with the bases loaded. That's the second walk issued by Mulholland.
And this outing is totally contradictory to what Terry Mulholland has done in the past. He's had 6 shaky ball games this year, but he's followed every one of them with an excellent outing. He's 5-0 in his starts coming after a shaky outing, and looks like he's not going to stick around long enough to see how this one's going to turn out.
It's going to be a relatively quick hook. As Bobby Cox takes the ball from Terry Mulholland, John Burkett will come on to pitch as Braves manager Bobby Cox makes the Bell South call to the bullpen.
Stuart Kobach, hopeless dreamer, hapless entrepreneur. Kobach and Company went bust after 2 years. The Kobach partnership lasted all of 6 months. 1-800-CALL-KOBACH never even got off the ground. His latest pipe dream, Kobach.com. How's it doing? It's hanging in there. Connect and create something. Bell South.
Now that Napa Auto Parts and accessories are available online, have we suddenly become hipper? Well, maybe a little. NapaOnline.com, where the world's largest inventory of ready-to-ship parts and expert advice you depend on in our stores, are now available online around the clock. And if something isn't right, you can ship it back or return it to your participating Napa store and we'll make it right. Actually, this is pretty hip.
Mets have taken a 3-2 lead and are threatening That's a graphic we show you a lot, and it always, or not, it doesn't always, but a lot of times it amazes me how few times that some players have hit with the bases loaded. There's a strike to Mora, 0-1. I guess it's not as frequent of an event. I guess a pitcher would think that it's a more frequent event than it really is, though, wouldn't I? Or a thrower. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mora's 0 for 3 against Burkett in his career. And a straightaway center. Andrew Jones is there, and Burkett gets out of the inning with no further damage, but the Mets grab the lead with a 3-run third. It's 3-2 New York.
Mr. Udall, have you seen Verdad? You know, my dog with the little face.
Hope you find him. Love that dog. How old are you? I was gonna guess by your eyes, I'd say you were 50.
If I went by your eyes, I'd say you were kind. When I first saw you, I thought you were handsome. And of course you spoke.
simple and accessible plans for everybody. That's Verizon Wireless. And right now, there's never been a better time to join in. Pick up a free AudioVox 4000 phone, then get 250 local anytime minutes for just $29.99 a month, which includes 500 free weekend minutes for 3 months. Hurry into a Verizon Wireless location near you, or call 1-888-466-4646. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
It's bigger than Bill Clinton's ego, Ross Perot's ears, and Dolly Parton's hair. In fact, it's so big, you'll have to see it to believe it. It's big. Imagine, Town & Country Dodge in Wilsonville could be the largest indoor Dodge store in the country, with almost 2 acres under one roof. You could park a 747 in it. Imagine no longer.
Braves are playing catch-up. They trail at 3-2, bottom of the third. Sunday on the Superstation, Bobby Labonte looking to defend his title at the Pocono Raceway as he goes up against Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt. The Pennsylvania 500, presented by America Online. Coverage begins at 12:35 on the Superstation. For more information, log on to America Online, keyword 10500.
3-2 Mets. We go to the bottom of the third. Rafael Furcal, Andrew Jones, Chipper Jones do up against Al Leiter, who had an easy second inning after struggling a little bit in the first. Furcal, an infield single, stole a base, scored a run in the first inning. And takes strike one.
One of the fears that a lot of scouts and a lot of ball clubs have for big catchers is their ability to really scrunch themselves up and provide a low target and unwind and throw. But, boy, Piazza gives you a nice low target. He packages himself in a little bitty package getting ready for the pitch.
0-2.
And part of the fear of throwing, just think how much a big guy like him has to unwind before he gets rid of the ball. I'll bet you he ends his career in some other position.
Well, there was talk of that a couple of years ago, that he might move to first base.
But they've always seemed to have had...
I don't know as though he really wants to. I think he enjoys the catching part of it.
Some guys do. Some catchers like being catchers. Todd Zio would rather have been a third baseman.
Former catcher. He was moved from catch to third base because Tom Pagnozzi came along. Joe Torre was the manager and said, I know you can move from catcher to third base in 1 year because I had to do that when I was playing.
That's right.
In the major leagues.
Promptly hit 364, didn't he?
Speaking of Zeal, he's right there. Takes care of Furcal, one down.
Number 25.
And now Andrew Jones, a single, a stolen base, and he scored a run in the first inning. Andrew continuing his string of being the only player in either league who has played every inning of every game all year. And don't think he hasn't been dinged up a little at times, too. Especially there was one instance just when the Braves got to Philadelphia for the second time into Philadelphia where he had been hit right on the shoulder blade, in the back of the shoulder by a pitched ball. And it was very, very sore, but he played through it.
And would tighten up on him. Either Dave Pursley or Jeff Porter would spend the time in between innings, or when the Braves are batting, loosening it up, massaging it. Right now, his left wrist is not 100%.
Here's the 1-0. Upstairs, 2-0. One gone, bottom of the third. Well, if you wait till you're 100% to play, you're only going to play about 15 games a year.
But it's amazing how many guys can't play with something nagging them. Just a part of their personality. You're not supposed to play with an injury, but everybody that plays sometimes with pain.
That's back out of play, and the count on Andrew goes to 2-1. Still wears that shin guard on his left leg. So he's fouled a few off that area. He just loves to play.
Well, I
heard, I think it was Joe Simpson, somebody did a radio interview with him, and I heard him talking about that. He said, that's my job. I expect to be in the lineup when I come to the park. That's my job, is to play center field.
3-1. After giving up the 2-run single to Brian Jordan, 6 in a row retired by Leiter. That's a foul ball in the count full, 3-2.
And when he's on, when Leiter's on with that cut fastball in on you, that's about the best you can do with it. It's almost impossible to keep it fair unless he makes a mistake out over the plate.
Now the payoff. Beyond the reach of Harris, beyond the reach of Mora. Base hit number 2 of the night for Andrew Jones, the 4th hit off Leiter.
And that was a good example of one out over the plate. Not only out over the plate, but up where he could see it and handle it.
Now Chipper Jones, he struck out his first time up. One man out here in the bottom of the 3rd. 3-2 New York. Mets with 5 hits. Braves have 4. That's beyond the reach of Harris. Down the left field line. Andrew rounding second. Heads for 3rd. Chipper on his way to second. And the Braves have runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. Double for Chipper Jones. His 24th of the year.
Another one of those cut fastballs or sliders that stayed over the plate. Harris, before against Andrew Jones, had moved a little bit closer to the line. That time against Chipper Jones had moved a little away from the line. Just a step out of place on both of those.
That'll bring up Brian Jordan, who drove in 2 in the 1st inning with a single. He now has 54 RBIs in the year. And as we mentioned, when he came up the first time, he really struggled on the road trip. On the entire road trip, he only had 2 RBIs. He's matched that his first at bat tonight. On the ground to 3rd, Harris coming home. Ball gets away from Piazza. Andrew is safe. Over to 3rd goes Chipper Jones. Down to 2nd, Brian Jordan. We're tied at 3. A risky play by Lenny Harris because Andrew Jones was almost right on top of Piazza when he cut loose that throw. And now let's see if Piazza's all right.
I don't know where he got hit, but he got hit hard. Remember, he struggled with some back problems. He's had things bother him for the last couple of years. Had to go to his left. Good throw gets him, but the throw drifts back into Andrew Jones. It didn't look like Andrew Jones hit him at all. He may have hurt himself when he bent over to try to make the tag. No, I see it. Did you see it? The foot hit him. Andrew Jones, his left foot will come up and hit Piazza right around the helmet. Oh, he's been getting beat up around the head lately, hasn't he?
They make sure he's all right. He is. It'll be an error charged to Lenny Harris. I don't know if they gave Jordan an RBI or not.
Originally up on the board, they did put up fielder's choice, E5 and an RBI. Andrew to the outside, but a full smash against the helmet. Piazza with his left foot.
So give Jordan another RBI, his third of the night. We are tied at 3. Galarraga flying to center his first time. Little dribbler up toward the shortstop Mora. His only play is on to first. Another run is in. Chipper Jones scores. Braves lead it 4-3. We've seen games like this before between these two clubs. Remember Game 6 in that National League Championship Series last year? Galarraga's 67th RBI. That was the game where the Braves had a 5-0 lead. Mets scored 3 in the 6th. Braves got 2 in the 6th to make it 7-3. Mets came back and tied it up. Then took the lead 8-7 in the top of the 8th. Braves tied it up in the bottom of the 8th. Each team scored a run in the 10th. And the Braves on the bases loaded walk won it in the bottom of the 11th. The lead has changed hands here 3 times already. Here's Javi Lopez. He struck out his first time. 4 runs, 5 hits Atlanta. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Mets.
First time he chased the pitch that he hadn't been swinging at during that good stretch on the road. Up and out of the strike zone.
Deep to left, fair or foul? It's a foul ball.
We've seen the choppers and the grounders that a lot of the Braves players have hit off that cut fastball or slider down and in. That's usually what happens if you hit it hard and get out in front of it a little. You can hit it a long way, but keeping it fair is the hard part.
Now the 1-1. In the air again, deep left field. This one's definitely fair, but playable for Agbayani on the warning track. And that's out number 3 in the bottom of the 3rd, but the Braves reclaim the lead with 2 more runs, 4-3 Atlanta, as we enter the 4th inning.
Hey, back on your feet after all that work you missed.
Yeah, good thing my supplemental insurance kicked in.
Supple what?
Flat. Well, even the best health insurance doesn't give you cash to cover things like lost pay or other expenses. This does.
What does?
Flat. Oh, sorry, buddy.
What?
Anyway, ask about it at work.
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Ask about what?
Paging Dr. Norris. Dr. Norris.
When lives are on the line, you rely on the specialized training and expertise of real professionals. People who use the tools at their disposal to find out what's wrong and fix it. But even with years of experience, it's not always easy. Appearances can be deceiving, because even though this isn't a hospital, this is a surgeon. He just operates on cars.
Paging Dr. Norris. Your car is ready.
CarQuest, the professional choice.
Grandma's cooking for her boys tonight. There won't be a dry skillet left in the house. To say, no thanks, Grandma, I'm full, is not an option. What beverage can see a man through this trial by kindness? That's right. Good to know there's also a light way to live. The high life.
Top of the 4th inning, it's time for our Aflac trivia question, and here it comes. Name the 3 switch hitters who have hit 40-plus homers in the National Leagues for a season. You ponder on that for a while, give you the answer in the bottom half of the inning.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you'll give us the answer on Tuesday. Because I know that you have to leave early tonight. You were headed up to Cooperstown for the annual Hall of Fame weekend, and we certainly want to wish you and the family well and have a good time up there. I know you always do.
I thank you very much for doing double duty. I'll see you on Tuesday.
And don't forget, the answer to that question is the first thing I'm going to expect from you.
Do you want me to phone in? All right.
Okay, thanks, Don. Don Sutton headed to Cooperstown for the annual Hall of Fame induction. We've got Carlton Fisk and Tony Perez and Sparky Anderson going in this year, among others. Marty Brenneman, the broadcaster for the Cincinnati Reds. Hal Lebovitz, the fine baseball writer from Cleveland. And we go to the fourth inning here in Atlanta. Lenny Harris singled and scored his first time up, takes ball one. In the left field, base hit. First hit allowed by Burkett, and Harris is 2 for 2. And once again, the pitcher Al Leiter will come up in a bunt situation. He was able to get the bunt down back in the third. Got Harris into scoring position, and Joe McEwing then delivered an RBI single. So the responsibility the same for Leiter here. Mets down by a run. Same spot. Chipper thinking about second, but not sure of that. Makes the safe play to first. Lenny Harris again going to second on a 5-4 sacrifice. Second time that scenario has taken place here. One away in the fourth. Back to the top of the order now. Joe McEwing, a strikeout in the first inning, an RBI single in the third. Four runs, 5 hits for Atlanta. 3 runs, 6 hits now for the Mets. Greg Maddux against Rick Reed tomorrow. Andy Ashby against Bobby Jones on Sunday. All the starting pitchers in this series, because of the rain out in Florida in the doubleheader, pitching on 3 days rest. But it was pointed out by Leo Mazzoni that since the Sunday game has been moved to a night game, that's another half day for Ashby. And then the off day on Monday will get everybody back on a regular schedule by the Marlins series Tuesday. Outside corner, 0-2 on McEwing. In case you missed the earlier announcement, Braves acquired catcher Paul Bacco from the Florida Marlins today. He is in uniform tonight. They got him off the waiver wire. He has been warming up Mulholland and Burkett. And in all likelihood, he'll be in there tomorrow when Greg Maddux is on the mound. Fernando Lunar being sent back to the minor leagues to make room for Bacco. John Sherrills explaining the move prior to the game, saying very simply that there has been so many injuries this year to offensive players on this club that any time he feels he can improve the club even in increments offensively, he's going to go ahead and do it. And Bacco, about a .250 hitter, where Lunar was hitting under 200, also brings a left-handed bat to the mix. 2-2 on Joe McEwing. One man out, a runner at second. Here's the 2-2. In the air to right toward that corner. Jordan's been busy tonight over in that area. Runs out of room this time. Still 2-2. This is the tail end of a long and challenging road trip for the Mets. They've already played 8 games on this trip coming out of the All-Star break. They went to Boston for 3, Toronto for 3, Montreal for 2. And now these 3 games in Atlanta, they've done okay. They're 4-4 on the trip. Fouled away again by McEwing. On Wednesday night, he had a 2-run pinch hit single. In a come-from-behind 5-3 win over Montreal. He had 3 RBIs against Toronto. On Monday, 7 RBIs in his last 4 games. Still 2-2. He's in at second base tonight for Edgardo Alfonzo. Now, Alfonzo's injury not considered to be real serious. He's just day-to-day. He may be back out there as early as tomorrow. The 2-2 again. Little pop-up foul again and how to play again. And it's still 2-2 on McEwing. And we'll keep our eyes and ears open the rest of the night to see if we hear anything further on the Barry Larkin situation. The reports are that the Mets and Reds have agreed in principle to a deal that would bring Barry Larkin over to the New York Mets. It is subject to Larkin's approval. He has 72 hours to make up his mind. A lifetime Cincinnati Red could be a Met as early as tomorrow. Glenn Allen Hill goes from the Cubs to the Yankees today for a couple of minor leaguers. And I think we're going to see a few more deals. We're still 10 days away from the trade deadline. Line caught by Chipper Jones. Double play if he gets it there, and he does. And that takes care of the Mets in the fourth inning. He had a little trouble getting it out of his glove, but Lenny Harris was so far off the bag that Chipper really didn't have to hurry very much, and he gets the 5-4 double play to end the top half of the fourth inning.
Now that Napa Auto Parts...
It is 4-3 Atlanta as we go to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Let's give you the answer to tonight's Aflac trivia question. Name the only 3 switch hitters in the National League to hit 40 or more home runs in a season. Chipper Jones, Todd Hundley, Ken Caminiti. Todd Hundley, when he was with the New York Mets, 41 home runs in 1996. We were there for number 41. Hit it against the Braves, and they honored him. Most home runs ever hit by a catcher at that point. Chipper Jones reaching that level last year. Here's Bobby Bonilla, struck out his first time up. Al Leiter down by a run now. 4-3, the Braves on top. After this weekend series, these two teams don't see each other again until September. 3 games here starting September 18th. And 3 games in New York starting September 26th. The only question, will it matter? Line drive to first. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the fourth. Everybody expects this race to go right down to the wire, but you never know. Steve Cisco popped to short his first time up. One ball, no strikes. Foul ball, 1-1. Cisco out of Cal State Fullerton. 1-2. He was originally a 16th round draft pick of Kansas City in '92 and spent 7 years in their organization, then became a minor league free agent, signed with Richmond last year, hit .311 for the Braves AAA club a year ago, and signed back with them again this year. And finally, after all these years in the minor leagues, getting a taste of the big show at age 30. 2-2. Gets away from Piazza, but he recovers in plenty of time. Leiter has his 3rd strikeout. And now John Burkett will hit for himself. Burkett just 1 for 20 on the year. Two men out, base is empty in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Braves leading it by a run. Before a sellout crowd here at Turner Field, all 3 of these games are sellouts. Very comfortable night tonight. There's a nice breeze blowing almost directly in from left field. Sort of a crosswind left toward the right field corner a little bit. Maybe a little bit more toward first base than the right field corner. But it is keeping things relatively comfortable tonight after all the high humidity in Florida. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball missed. 2-2. It's been warm. It was over 90 degrees again today. The 2-2 to Burkett is low and outside. 3-2. Leiter does not want to walk John Burkett. Still 3-2. If you add together the career batting averages of John Burkett and Al Leiter, you still don't get to 200. Burkett thrown out by McEwing even after he bobbled it. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Al Leiter. Heading to the fifth, 4-3 Atlanta.
Present.
Leaving for a good cause. You see, since 1994, the Home Depot has hired and supported more Olympic hopefuls in North America than all other companies combined.
You buy Priceline.com. Name your own price. Airline tickets, hotel rooms, new cars, mortgages, and more. Priceline.com. And buy the Home Depot, America's home improvement coach.
4-3 Atlanta as we go to the top half of the fifth inning. The Braves Clubhouse Collection catalog is one of the longest running catalogs in all of professional sports. And you can order your copy so you can see why Braves fans everywhere shop from the Braves catalog. To order, call 1-800-433-BRAVES. And another wide assortment of items from the Braves Clubhouse Collection on display here at Turner Field tonight. Pete Van Weren with you for the top half of the fifth inning. Skip and Joe will be over in the bottom half. Don Sutton has left for the airport as he goes up to Cooperstown for the annual Hall of Fame weekend. The inductions on Sunday. They invite all the members of the Hall of Fame back up every year, and I think there are 61 of them going to be back up there this year. It's going to be a nice group. Here's Derek Bell leading off the fifth. He's 0 for 2. He has grounded out to short, fouled out to first. Facing John Burkett, who has a chance to pick up a win here. He was the pitcher of record when the Braves grabbed the lead. Strike 0-1. Bell has not had a very good road trip. He's only 6 for 36 on the trip. He's always been a very streaky kind of hitter. 0-2. And very unpredictable. He'll take pitches right down the middle and swing at pitches down and away and get base hits on them. One ball, 2 strikes. Two and two. First strikeout of the game for Burkett. One gone in the fifth. And Mike Piazza will be the hitter. He's 2 for 2, pair of singles. He has scored a run. He's up over 350 for the year now, 351. He is now 8 for 19 against Braves pitching this year. And he has his fans wherever he goes. along the third base foul line into foul territory. Chipper Jones. Here comes Percal. Percal gets to it. You count yourself lucky when you can get Piazza out that easily on one strike after missing with ball one. First pitch in the strike zone, a little pop-up in foul territory. Very relatively rare to see Mike Piazza hit a ball not hard somewhere. 2 gone. Now Todd Zeile, who's grounded out to third and walked. Nothing in 1. Little ground ball toward short. Percal gobbles this one up over to first. And a very easy inning for John Burkett. He gets through a tough part of the order. Bell, Piazza, and Zeile with no trouble at all. Halfway home, 4-3 Atlanta.
And that's what we do best at AutoZone.
The Nutty Professor has discovered the fountain of youth. Unfortunately, it comes with a few side effects.
But it looks. See you later, chunky butt! This is something scary!
Now, the whole world
Look at that!
is going nutty.
What are you looking at? This is an impressive package for a toddler.
Eddie Murphy, Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, July 28th in theaters everywhere.
We go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Joe Simpson, Skip Carey with you. That's Joe. I'm Skip. And pretty good ball game. Some strange stuff has gone on in this game, but it's anybody's game halfway home.
Yeah, I think the sign of a good ball club, though, is for the Braves standpoint. They gave up the 3 runs in the top of the 3rd inning and looked like Leiter had settled down a little bit, but they didn't let him get comfortable and came right back with 2 runs to regain the lead. And that's always a big inning for you when you take the lead, is to hold the other team, and the Mets couldn't do it.
Top of the order for Atlanta in the 5th. Rafael Furcal leads it off. Montreal hammering Florida tonight, 7-1. Strike called over the outside corner. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom half of the 5th inning. It's even now, a ball and a strike. 1:15 game tomorrow on Braves Radio. Joe and I will be out at the Chop Talk restaurant. What do they call it? Chop House. There's the Chop Talk magazine, the Chop House restaurant.
I bet they've got some copies of Chop Talk out there.
Yeah, good point. 2 balls and a strike. Inside, 3-1. This would be a nice man to get on to lead off the inning.
Leiter's cut fastball has been just a little bit off tonight. It's been missing inside.
Swung a high, lazy can of corn into left field. Agbayani battles the wind a little bit, but he makes the catch. 1 away. The wind is kicked up here. 1 out. Sort of wish he'd have taken that 3-1 pitch.
I think Leiter was getting a little uneasy about it, too, the longer Agbayani had to run in to get it. Wind was blowing out to right, but it has shifted and blowing straight in.
Andrew Jones is 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored and a stolen base. Chipper, of course, on deck. Look out. Line fouled on the 3rd base line over by their dugout.
See, it doesn't matter where you throw him in, he's going to hit it. You have to hit him to keep him from hitting this pitch. And they keep going in there, and he's pulled 2 balls for hits and almost took out one of Leiter's teammates standing on the rail near the dugout.
The 0-1 offering. A ball and a strike. White Sox lead Boston tonight, 6-5. Yankees 8-1 over Tampa Bay at Yankee Stadium. Baltimore over Toronto 6-4 in the 7th. Line drive right at the third baseman. Must have hit that pretty hard. Down goes Harris. 2 out.
Down goes Lenny. Down goes Lenny. This ball was hooking and almost hooked around his glove. Look out. Andrew is zeroed in on that cut fastball, and he's hitting it right on the sweet spot.
2 out.
Then he's saying it was a knuckleball.
His teammates are all over him from the third base dugout.
Todd Pratt really enjoying it.
Low and away, 1 ball, no strikes.
Braves, when they played up in New York, had to put kind of a makeshift lineup together at times when Chipper missed for the birth of his son. Also had the flu and an injury to Furcal that knocked him out after 1 game. And now the Mets facing similar maladies, with Alfonso out tonight with a hip flexor injury, and of course Ventura on the DL.
And we still don't know how badly Reggie Sanders' injury is, if bad at all. 2 balls and a strike. We don't have the flu anymore on this team. It's flu-like symptoms. Two balls, 1 strike. Brian Jordan on deck. Three and 1. You're liable to see a pretty good rip here. Al Leiter tied for 3rd in the league with Tom Glavine for best earned run average last year. Strike 2 called over the outside corner. Full count, 3 and 2. I like to watch this guy pitch. He's a good one.
He is a good one, and he's gone through a stretch where he's had a rough 2 games back-to-back, but started the season 10 and 1.
Strike 3 called, inning over. Chipper thought it was low, but he is called out of there. 1, 2, 3, nothing doing in the 5th. The Budweiser game summary will soon be approaching at the end of 5. 4-3 Atlanta.
A secret so painful, so unspeakable, so unforgivable, exposing it could destroy them all. A TBS Superstation premiere, The Prince of Tides, Sunday at 8 Eastern on TBS Superstation.
Tonight on Dinner and a Movie, join Paul and Annabelle with special guests Dale Earnhardt and Kyle Petty as they watch The Presidio, starring Sean Connery, Mark Harmon, and Meg Ryan. And make...
I left my tart in San Francisco. That's lame.
Dinner and a Movie, tonight after the Braves, only on the Superstation.
Simple and accessible plans for everybody. That's Verizon Wireless. And right now, there's never been a better time to join in. Pick up a free AudioVox 4000 phone, then get 250 local anytime minutes for just $29.99 a month, which includes 500 free weekend minutes for 3 months. Hurry into a Verizon Wireless location near you, or call 1-888-466-4646. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
I'm a child care director. In the summer, I drive buses and vans. We have a blast on these field trips. It's just as much fun for me as it is for them. Parents are entrusting me with the safety of their children. We have to make sure we keep great tires on the van. We trust Walmart to service our vehicle. They have name brand tires and they have great prices, and they're guaranteed nationwide. That's one reason we bought them.
Brand name tires, oil changes, and more at Walmart Tire and Lube Express.
Because it's pretty precious cargo.
Some of the Budweiser game summary tonight ought to include the fact that the Chop House is packed tonight under the Budweiser sign. Terry Mulholland knocked out in the 3rd inning, went only 2 2/3 innings, but he's been taken off the hook by some good offensive work by the Braves, especially by Brian Jordan, who has 3 RBIs tonight, including a 2-run single in the 1st. Mike Piazza 2 for 3, and the Andrew Jones couple of hits also off Al Leiter. And another good ball game, kind of a typical game between the Braves and the Mets, back and forth.
We go to the 6th inning here. Jay Payton will lead things off for the New Yorkers, and he takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
If you just joined us, the Mets have announced that they have agreed in principle to a deal with the Cincinnati Reds. They've agreed on the players that would bring Barry Larkin to New York.
Ground ball up the middle for Kyle Up and throwing. Got him easily, 1 down.
But Barry Larkin is a 10-5 guy, meaning 10 years in the big leagues at least, and the last 5 with the same team, which allows him the privilege of vetoing a trade if he wants to, if he doesn't want to go to the Mets. And New York's going to try to persuade him to approve it. And he has 72 hours to decide.
Wind really whipping around again. There's no rain in the forecast, is it?
I think every night about this time it seems like there's a threat.
In Florida it is, but I don't know about here.
It's been so hot.
Agbayani takes a strike. A lot of heavy weather here last night. Burkett has pitched extremely well after Terry struggled.
Yeah, and his numbers out of the bullpen were not very good this year. He had good numbers as a starter, not so out of the bullpen, but tonight, very good stuff.
That's that. Agbayani out of there. 3rd strikeout for John Burkett.
Good pitch, too. Fastball that just caught the outside third of the plate. Great location.
Melvin Mora, the batter. A strike is called to him, 0-1. Don't forget, Sunday's game has been moved back to 8:05. Oh, 0-2. Swung on and a fly ball to right field, and Brian Jordan is there waiting, and the inning is quickly over. 1, 2, 3, nothing doing. We go to the bottom half of the 6th. Braves on top, 4-3.
The ability to have hands-on brewmasters working with the finest ingredients.
In the barley fields and in the hop fields, everyone has a genuine passion and commitment to upholding the highest standards.
Quality, freshness, attention to detail. Blend those things and you have what Budweiser is all about.
Nobody in America sells more office products to more businesses than Office Depot.
You can shop our store. Or you can shop our catalog.
You can shop online.
Taking care of business. It's all mine. Taking care of business and working overtime. Work out.
Office Depot. Taking care of business.
Remember Jared? He lost 245 pounds on his own diet, which included Subway's low-fat sandwiches and lots of walking. It's been a year, so let's see how he's doing.
Looking buff, Jared.
Thanks to 7 Subway sandwiches with 6 grams of fat or less, Jared's looking good. Subway.
Doing more, performing at my best, uses up nutrients.
New Centrum Performance helps replace them with more key B vitamins plus ginseng and ginkgo.
It helps energize my mind and body. Life's demanding, but I thrive on it.
Centrum Performance. Life demands it.
Fans, don't forget to log on to TBSSuperstation.com or AOL keyword Brave Super Tour for your chance to win up to $1 million, sit in Ted's box, or receive a Philips DVD player. Correctly answer a question about every broadcast of a Braves game on TBS through September 9th to increase your chances of winning the grand prize.
They had a sign on the big message board here at the ballpark out in center field said, Bobby Valentine, there's no crying in baseball. Pretty good. Brian Jordan leads off the bottom half of the 6th inning. 4-3 ball game. Atlanta on top. Jordan calls time, steps out of the box. The batter's box and the catcher's box have been obliterated here. Strike over the outside corner.
Al Leiter has decided that some of these guys he's going to have to at least set them up with a few pitches away. He hardly pitched away at all early in the game.
High again, 1-1 the count.
And Bryan's one of the guys that burned him in the first inning with a bouncer up the middle.
Jordan has driven in 3 runs tonight and 55 on the year. Fouls it back and he's in the hole, 1-2. You could get to Leiter early, but you can see him as the innings go by getting more and more comfortable. It's the bottom of the 6th, the 1-run game, and Atlanta enjoys the lead. Started to go. No, 2-2. Jordan, Galarraga, Lopez here. That's going to be an interesting situation for Barry Larkin. He went around, they say, and he's tagged out, and Bryan doesn't like it at all, and he looks down at the first base umpire, Fletcher, in disgust. 1 away.
Little staring match going on now. Bat did get extended a little bit out in front of home plate. The angle that Fletcher had was closer to this one. He probably did go.
So 1 is out. Here's Galarraga. Low and away, 1 ball, no strikes. Andres 0 for 2. He's driven in a run with an infield help. Javi Lopez on deck. Little swinging bunt, but foul down the third base line.
Both pitchers have settled into a nice groove. Leiter's retired 10 in a row, and Burkett has set down 8 in a row since the single by Lenny Harris in the 4th.
What do you think will happen with Larkin, Joe? He's a Cincinnati native, so the big city doesn't necessarily appeal to him.
I would say as difficult as it is these days to trade a 10-5 guy or a superstar type player like Barry Larkin, you better think about it long and hard, because he's going to come to a good team with a chance to get in the playoffs.
Swing and a miss. 2-2.
And it is a big market that if he's wanting one more payday on a contract before his career is over, New York might be a good place to get one. Trouble is, the Mets already have Ordonez signed for 3 years, so they'd have to make some move that might be a little complicated there.
And everyone talks about them going after A-Rod. Right now, they go after Galarraga, and they get him.
Slider in, cut fastball in, and then a fastball up and away. This was set up by the pitches inside.
That's 6 strikeouts now for Leiter, I believe. 7 strikeouts make it. I just wanted to see if Joe was paying attention. Here's Javi. Low and outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
This is more Al Leiter-like. He's getting ahead in the count, doing a lot more strikes, working fast.
Getting back to the Larkin thing, I bear no ill will toward the Players Association, but they've simply got too much power. And that's the fault of the owners and the commission. High drive, left field. That ball's got a chance. It's gonna go. It's 5-3.
Just talked about what a good roll Leiter was on, which makes this home run even more impressive. And if the wind hadn't been blowing in so strong from left field, that might have made it up into the terrace level. High fastball that Javi got on top of.
Bobby Bonilla, the batter.
Ball was crushed.
High pop into short center. McEwing should handle that. He battles the wind, but he's got it. And the inning is over. An insurance run is provided by Javi Lopez with a homer. At the end of 6, Braves 5, Mets 3. But it's the owners who have dealt it all away, or the commissioner, or whoever you want to blame. Matt Franco, by the way, is apparently on deck here. Yeah, that's him. Turk Wendell is in the bullpen.
I think the 10-5 rule is a good one for a veteran player like a Barry Larkin or anyone of his caliber who has become established in a city for that long of time and has some choices to make. That's something afforded a veteran. I think there's some things on the other end that need to be addressed. Most certainly arbitration. I think that's done more harm to the skewing of salaries than anything.
No doubt.
Free agency.
No doubt about it.
Had to do with it.
And again, congratulations to the Players Union. I mean, those guys, Orza and what's his name, are going out.
Collective bargaining. I mean, it's...
Yeah. Doing just what they should do. Trinidad Hubbard checks into left field and makes the catch. 1 out. Donald Fear, yeah.
Well, and Marvin Miller before him. Donald learned at the hand of the master. But the Players Association, the Baseball Players Association, Skip, is more a united athletic union than any other sport. There's nothing that comes close to the strength and the unity of the Baseball Players Association.
It amuses me that the players have a union, but when they negotiate, they have their own agent. The union doesn't negotiate for them. They have their own man. Ground ball to short. Franco should be thrown out. Pascal bobbles it, throws low, but Galarraga picked him up, 2 down.
Boy, Rafi's got to get those yips out of his fielding. This was just a broken bat, easy ground ball that came up on him. And then he rushed his throw a little bit, and were it not for the good play by Galarraga, that's an E6.
He doesn't do that when he plays second base.
Hasn't made an error at all at second. That was a very good play by the big cat.
Now a play will be called as Joe McEwing goes through all sorts of gyrations. $49,313 here tonight. It is a sellout.
Number 12 of the year.
But I think it would be nice if the Players Union would say we have been so fortunate. We have gotten so much. And maybe it's a time to put a little something back. Not for the owners, but for the game itself, for the fans.
They don't see it that way.
No, I know they don't. And they never will. And if I were in their shoes, I probably wouldn't either. Ground ball up the middle. Rafi's got this one. Throws out a little low, too, but no harm done. Nothing doing in the 7th. We go to the bottom half, 7th inning stretch time with your score: Braves 5, Mets 3.
While there are a lot of places where people buy parts for their car, the fact is more people choose AutoZone than any other. It's because we're the largest auto parts retailer in America, and they save money with our everyday low price. It's because more often than not, we have the part they need in stock. And it's because we're the place where they'll find a battery that's backed by a 3-year free replacement guarantee. Which is why we say there's just no place better than AutoZone.
We're facing a global population crisis, and the solution will save you thousands right now at Car Chevy World. Massive overstock means drastic discounts have been made on over 500 vehicles, which means every Chevy is now an unbelievably low $99 over dealer invoice. You don't pay any rebate, incentives, holdback, or advertising costs. You pay only $99 over invoice, where salaried salespeople see it your way. Every Chevy now just $99 over dealer invoice. Car Chevy World, Beaverton, Canyon Road, 1 block west of Murray.
The number of wireless plans, carriers, and phones keeps multiplying. Luckily, you can count on Car Toys' knowledgeable experts to single out the best one for you. For just $39.99 a month, 2 people share 300 minutes with service provided by Verizon Wireless. Plus, get 2 better-than-free digital phones, $140 of free accessories, and a $100 bill credit. The selection you want, the knowledge you need, only at Car Toys.
A better way to go.
Broadcast-wise, here's what's coming up for Atlanta Braves television. Neither one of the next 2 games will be broadcast on TBS. Tomorrow will be on Fox, Sunday on ESPN with the late game. And then the Marlins come to town after an off day on Monday, and we'll have the first and third games of that series for you on the Superstation. Likewise, the first and third game of next weekend's 3-game series with the Houston Astros, a team that has certainly become has been a puzzle all year long with their inability to win games.
Turk Wendell on the pitch as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning, and I think John Burkett's night's work is over as Keith Lockhart comes out and will pinch hit for him after Cisco leads off the inning. Burkett 4 1/3, a hit. Everything else 0.
Turk Wendell looks like he won the award on Survivor, and he's going to be exempt from being kicked off the island this week.
I have made up my mind that I will never watch even a portion of that program.
He's got the talisman around him, so he's exempt.
The wind on the pitch is a strike, 0-1. Steve Cisco is 0 for 2. And he's in the hole 0-2. Nobody on, nobody out. Little insurance couldn't hurt. A ball and 2 strikes.
He's got several guys among the league leaders in appearances. I believe Dennis Cook's in the top 10 as well.
It's always good when he comes into the game and gives Pat Corrales something to do.
Yeah. This is Wendell's 50th. Steve Klein has been in 51 for Montreal.
Cisco out on strikes, 1 away.
Slider, slider, slider from Turk.
In case you don't know what I'm talking about, Pat's got plenty to do, but more to do when Cook's out there. He's been driving him nuts for years because he feels that when he rubs up the baseball, he's trying to raise the seams, and he's had some umpires agree with him on that. So Cook is not his best buddy. Here's Keith Lockhart. Grounded to first. That should be easy. Zeal has it. Wendell covers in time. 2 out.
Turned out to be not so easy because it hit the edge of the bag, but Zeal was still able to glove it.
Zeal was very zealous on that play. 2 are out.
What a job by John Burkett tonight.
For Cal, the batter. Got a letter from a fan tonight mad at us because we don't always say for Cal. Sometimes we say for Cal. Picky, picky, picky. The pitch. It's low to for call. 1 ball, no strikes.
Do you get upset when those people call you ski up?
No. Never. I never get upset about anything. 2-0 the count. It's a new me.
I'm sorry, something happened with my headset. Not sure that I was getting all that volume.
That didn't get through to your brain.
No.
Certainly that's true. The 2-0 pitch. Right in there for a strike. It's 2-1. 2 out, nobody on here. Mike Remlinger in the Atlanta bullpen. Wendell Wines. What a piece of work this guy did. Fouled away. Just keep it on Wendell, if you will. Every now and then he sort of talks to the baseball.
If he ever had to pitch to Joe McEwing, there might never be a pitch made.
Right. Look at him.
You got to get it in the right frame of mind.
And he works a 1-2-3 inning. Nothing wrong with that. Watch him go off. He'll jump over the foul line so it doesn't trip him up. 1-2-3, nothing doing. And we go.
Hey, back on your feet after all that work you missed.
Yeah, good thing my supplemental insurance kicked in.
Supple what?
Flat. Well, even the best health insurance doesn't give you cash to cover things like lost pay or other expenses. This does.
What does?
Flat. Oh, sorry, buddy. What? Anyway, ask about it at work.
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Ask about what?
AOL membership gives you more. It's so easy to use and easy to get started.
Plug it in and you're good to go.
Email, buddy list, keywords.
Type in the keyword and boom, you're there.
At America Online, your security and privacy are always protected. AOL will never use personal information about where you go online. Parental controls let you control where your kids go online. And AOL has free help 24 hours a day online or by phone. America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Sign up today.
They know everything about seasonal allergies, every symptom and every side effect. From every over-the-counter remedy they've ever tried, they know everything except this. There's a pill that could make a difference. Pick a doctor, pick a day, and ask about non-drowsy Claritin, the once-daily pill for seasonal allergy relief, and discover what millions of allergy sufferers already know. Occurrence of side effects like headache, drowsiness, fatigue, and dry mouth is as low as with a sugar pill. Claritin. Know the difference.
5-3 Braves on top. We go to the 8th. Take a look at some scores on the Delta scoreboard. Some finals. Cubs beat Milwaukee 4-2 today. Kerry Wood the winner. Pittsburgh over Philadelphia 9-2. Johnny Vanderwall had a home run in that ball game. Montreal has a home run tonight from De La Rosa, his first in the big leagues. They lead 7-3 down at Pro Player Stadium. Arizona and Cincinnati tied 4-4. Finley's hit his 27th there. Bagwell is 24th for Houston. They trail St. Louis, though, 6-1. Rick Ankiel on the mound for the Cardinals. Colorado over San Diego. San Francisco and L.A. not yet underway. White Sox over Boston as they go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. 8-5 now. Valentin and Fordyce with home runs for the Sox. 4-0. Kansas City shutting out Detroit. Kansas City's playing good baseball right now. Yankees killing Tampa Bay 11-1. Posada with a home run, the only one there for the Yankees. Baltimore over Toronto. Tony Batista's hit 2 more homers. He's got 30 now for Toronto. Cleveland trailing Minnesota, as you saw, and a couple of other games out on the West Coast not yet underway. And for the latest scores and in-depth analysis, CNNSI.com. Sports Illustrated at CNN Speed.
Keith Lockhart stays in the game to play second base, and Mike Remlinger is the third Atlanta pitcher of the evening. He inherits a 5-3 lead. Joe brought you up to date with what's up and all the other baseball,
so to speak.
Yes.
Remlinger had a good outing last night in the first game of that doubleheader. He came in for Glavine, got out of a jam, an inning and 2/3, no hits or runs, and 2 strikeouts.
Bell, the batter, takes high and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. He is grounded to short, popped to first, and struck out.
Line of the night, though, belongs to John Burkett. He retired the last 11 men he faced, but thanks to a double play over 4 1/3 innings, he only gave up 1 hit. That runner, Lenny Harris, wiped out in a double play, so he faced the minimum number of batters over 4 1/3 innings. Nice job.
He would figure to be the winner here. Mulholland can't win it because, of course, he did not go 5. This is one of those that's up to the scorer.
Burkett's numbers, his ERA as a reliever prior to tonight, 8.5. Like Leo was trying to get a connection. You think?
Yeah. 1-2 the count.
Hello. Hello, Bubby Doos.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Mike Piazza is on deck. It would be nice to face him with 1 out, nobody on. Now Bobby's trying to get on the phone. Swing and a miss. Made him look awful. A good start for Remlinger. 1 out.
Now they've gotten a connection. The bat boy's going to go out and try to stir everybody up, but I think they've got the connection in the bullpen anyway. No connection from Derek Bell. Good start for Remlinger.
Piazza tonight, 2 out of 3 with a run scored. They boo him, but boy, he's a great ball player. He may not be the greatest defensive catcher in the world, but he gives it everything he's got. You see him diving into guys' spikes. Line outside, 1-0.
There's a will to win there that there's just no denying. He's just a gamer, whether it's at the plate where he has the majority of his success or from the hard work he puts in trying to be a better catcher.
High fly ball, center field. Andrews going to get that one. In right center, he puts it away, 2 out. And Todd Zeal is the batter. What is that, 13 Mets in a row that have gone down?
Mm-hmm. Minimum number have come to the plate since the 3-run 3rd inning.
Zeal tonight is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Melvin Mora has been filling in at shortstop in the absence of Ordonez, who's out for the year with a broken arm. And while he is a very good athlete, he's probably more comfortable in the outfield. And if the Mets can convince Barry Larkin to come join them, that would be a huge addition to their ball club.
Not only come join him, but they would want him to come join them by tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, there's a certain lure there, too. If you're a veteran player like Larkin and you like being in the big games, you'd want to participate in this series. If you're going to make your mind up to come play for the Mets, if it can be worked out, you'd want to participate. National TV tomorrow as well.
Ground ball, great stop. Chipper, can he throw him out? Yes, great play on both ends, and the inning is up. 1, 2, 3, nothing doing. That was a major league play. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning, and the Braves still lead 5-3.
And they sent steeple removers, not staplers, you know, so I had to make an executive decision. I mean, do I look like an executive?
Well, yeah.
But, you know, it's... What?
Nothing.
Anyway, that's something I don't need to talk about. I mean, you know, I'm not all just work. I mean, I'm a big-time bowler. Once I had a 130, and then I started hitting gutter balls, gutter ball, gutter ball, gutter ball. And so I blew that one.
Now that Napa Auto Parts and accessories are available online, have we suddenly become hipper? Well, maybe a little. NapaOnline.com, where the world's largest inventory of ready-to-ship parts and expert advice you depend on in our stores, are now available online around the clock. And if something isn't right, you can ship it back or return it to your participating Napa store and we'll make it right. Actually, this is pretty hip.
Full tank of gas for the Galooly Family Funmobile, $25. Snacks, no nutritional value, $9. 440 miles of family bonding, priceless.
Use your MasterCard this summer and you could win family vacations for the next 20 years in the MasterCard Summer Escape Sweepstakes. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
5-3, Braves on top as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. And on Fridays, you know it's time for Dinner and a Movie. Next on TBS, Sean Connery and Meg Ryan starring the Presidio. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Dinner and a Movie. Annabelle and Paul are cooking up I Left My Tart in San Francisco. And that's next on the Superstation.
Can you say that on TV?
I just did.
Okay. Well, Rich Rodriguez comes on to pitch here. And by the way, Kansas City's Johnny Damon has 3 hits today. And that gives him 15 hits in his last 4 games, which ties an American League record. The last player to accomplish this feat was Walt Dropo, then of the Detroit Tigers, also of the Red Sox. Dropo did it in 1952, and Damon becomes the 5th player ever in the American League to accomplish that feat. Remember Walt Dropo, great big right-hand hitter? He was huge. Rodriguez on to pitch, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. The Jones boys and Jordan Scoots due up for Atlanta.
Ever since that dive into the warning track and into the padded wall down the right field line, Jeff Porter's been working on the forearms of Brian Jordan. Like he got scraped up.
Putting that sleeve on so if he gets there again, he can go ahead and dive and won't get scraped. Andrew Jones has 2 hits. He's hit the ball hard every time. Down low, 1 ball, no strikes. Braves 3 outs away from victory. Rodriguez delivers, swung and missed, 1-1.
Mets have had to make a lot of changes in their bullpen and their rotation at various times during the year. A lot of guys up and down from Norfolk, including Rich Rodriguez. He went down on June 28th, called back up July 10th.
A ball and 2 strikes.
In addition to the Braves move today of getting Paul Bacco, claiming him off waivers from Florida, and sending Fernando Lunar to Double-A Greenville, Mets made a move today too.
Fouled away. Perry Leitenberg in the Atlanta bullpen now. Rich Rodriguez, by the way, out of the University of Tennessee, and makes his home, he and his family, in Duluth, Georgia. A lot of ball players live up that way. John Rocker, you see, is in the bullpen as well. As Leitenberg.
Mets called up catcher infielder Mike Kincaid and sent another man out of their bullpen down, Jim Mann.
1-2 the count.
I wonder if they did that just to have a little more flexibility if they've got to take Piazza out of a game or 2 early because of his concussion he received from the beaning.
Could be. You can always switch him back. 2-2 the count to Andrew. Nobody on, nobody out here in the 8th. Chipper Jones on deck, then Brian Jordan. One home run in the game. Javi Lopez has that. That's out of play. Still 2-2. Andrews stands back in there.
He had a good series up in New York against the Mets, had 5 hits in 4 games, went 5 for 16, and already 2 for 3 tonight.
Just missed. 3-2.
More communication problems. He's got a little handheld radio, walkie-talkie.
Houston, we have a problem. There's a good start to the bottom of the 8th. Andrews aboard. So Rodriguez walks the first man he faces. Here's Chipper.
Come in, Calcutta. Come in, Calcutta.
Jersey's talking to Terry Mulholland.
We do not have a secured line. Be careful what you say.
The stretch. And now the pitch. There's a strike right through there, 0-1.
Doozy looked into that thing and said, I'm not getting a very good picture on this. But that may be what they have to use here to communicate.
Oh, and 1 the count. Andrew, a good size lead. There he goes, inside the throw. He's in there. His second stolen base of the night, his 10th of the year in 15 tries.
Piazza looks like he's mad at himself, but boy, he got a horrible pitch to try to throw on, and I'm surprised it was that close. Down and in. Had to bring the glove back to his body to make the shift. He really made a good, strong throw, given where the pitch location
was. He made a terrific play to make that close.
Mm-hmm.
And now he goes to the mound, and he's going to ask Leiter, who are you more comfortable with, Jordan or Chipper Jones?
You can see Piazza, too. If you can see his left hand, he's got it out of the glove. He's got one of those sleeves on his thumb. That's a hard plastic sleeve that fits over his hand and goes up into the thumb of the glove just to give it a little more bracing, so if he happens to catch one just off the pocket a little bit, it won't bruise it or break it.
They're going to pitch to Chipper here, at least for now. The 1-1, here it is. Downstairs, 2 balls and a strike. So Rodriguez encounters some trouble here. Rodriguez comes set. Swung, a little swinging bunt, but it's going to roll foul. That is not a swimming bunt. Baseball cannot swim.
No, I've never seen one anyway.
No, that's right. The Mets signed Rodriguez as a free agent over the winter. He has previously pitched with the Padres, the Marlins, the Cardinals, and the Giants. Originally was in the Mets farm system.
He's been a very serviceable relief pitcher for a lot of ball clubs, as you mentioned, a guy who can give you a lot of innings.
Lined hard, but foul. Josh and I ran into him at a Georgia Tech football game several years ago. Nice young man. Two balls, 2 strikes. Runner at second and no one out. Braves lead at 5-3. A 1:15 game tomorrow, 8:05 Sunday. Line drive, base hit left field. Andrew around third. They're going to send him. Here's the throw. Going to be close. They cut it off. Chipper goes to second. He is up. But the run scores, and it's 6-3. Chipper thought they'd let the throw go through, and I'm surprised they didn't. It would have been a bang-bang play.
I'm surprised, too. Agbayani got off a pretty good throw, but from our vantage point, maybe it was too far offline. And Lenny Harris decided on his own to cut it in an effort to get the runner at second.
And he did do that.
And he was way out by the mound, Skip, so that ball had to be far up the first base line.
But another run is home. And Brian Jordan lines one to center. Diving catch there by Payton. Good play. 2 out.
Tell you what, the Mets are what Brian needs to get well just on just about every occasion. He was 7 for 18 against him in New York with a homer. Tonight, 3 hard-hit balls, and he gets robbed of a hit by Peyton on a good play here. 3 RBIs for Brian tonight.
And here's Galarraga with 2 out and nobody on. Strike over the inside corner. Strike 2 over the outside there. 6-3 Atlanta, our score. Moved him off the plate.
It's a nice lead to have going into the 9th inning, but after what happened in New York, I don't think you can be comfortable with a lead against the Mets on any occasion.
And you know, everybody in that Atlanta dugout is thinking about it, and also the fact that it's a Friday night.
Yeah.
Javi would be next. The pitch, grounded foul. And the pitch. Fouled it back.
Rodriguez doesn't have the juice to really keep Andres honest inside like Leiter did with that good cut fastball and slider. And he's trying to keep the ball and run the ball away from Galarraga, and he likes the ball away from him, prefers it away from him.
Andres still alive up there.
That RBI for Chipper, by the way, you saw some numbers for him against the Mets in his career. That was his 54th RBI in 65 games against the New York Mets.
That's what you got to like about him. He comes up big in big games.
Yeah.
And Jordan, too, as you mentioned. The wave breaks out here. Andres a little out in front on that one.
Well, that's what I was talking about. That breaking ball is slower than the one he's been seeing tonight from Leiter, and he's able to adjust even if he's a little bit quick on it.
1:15 game tomorrow. 8:05 game Sunday. That game will be on ESPN on Sunday. Line drive, left field, should be caught, and is dropped. Agbayani had it hit him in a bad place, right in the glove. That almost has to be an error. And the inning continued.
Watch where the pitch is. Down and in, and Andres able to turn on it. And Agbayani, you're right, should have had that one. Ought to be an E7.
And it is. And here's Lopez. He's 1 for 3. That hit a homer. And here comes Dave Wallace, the pitching coach. He may make a move here. Pat Mahomes is throwing in the Mets bullpen, and that'll do it for Rodriguez. We'll take a break here and come right back.
AOL members.
Sunday on the Superstation, Bobby Labonte looks to defend his title at the Pocono Raceway as he goes up against Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt. The Pennsylvania 500 presented by America Online. Our coverage begins at 12:35 on the Superstation. For more information, log on to America Online. Keyword 10500.
Boy, they really get low when they go into the pits, you know, and change the tires and all those. The engines are really rumbling. Sort of a low macho sound.
Yeah, I think they work on that in the garage before the race.
I think so too. Yeah, only so. So Mahomes completes his warm-up tosses. Looking ahead to the New York 9th stanza, it will be Peyton, Agbayani, and Mora. At least those are the scheduled hitters.
This guy's got a good arm. They've used him a lot actually in a couple of different roles as a setup guy for Benitez and as a long reliever at times. And he's made 3 starts. Good arm.
Javi Lopez stands in there at 49,313, enjoying this one, at least to this point, a capacity crowd, 12th of the year.
I like that one sign just below there. Everything was spelled with a J. Hit a homer, Javi.
Javi. Get a jit, Javi. Downstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Runner at first, 2 out, a run in.
He really tomahawked that homer off Leiter in the 6th inning. A fastball buckled Al's knees a little bit. He'd been on a pretty good roll. He struck out 3 batters in a row before that homer.
Outside, 2 balls and a strike. And Leiter was beside himself in the dugout after that inning in which the homer was hit concluded.
Javi had a big day on that Sunday afternoon in New York when the Braves needed a win to gain a split of the series. He had 2 homers in the game.
Good breaking ball. 2-2.
He's already got 3 homers against the Mets this year, and this is the 5th game.
The 2-2. I think that's strike 3. It is, and the inning is over. So Javi is out swinging. And a run scores, and does so on 1 hit. There was 1 error and 1 left, and we go to the 9th, and it's the last chance for the Mets. With your score, Braves 6, New York 3.
Pocono. It's flat, fast, and it's a whole lot of fun. One corner is banked, one corner is flat, one corner is just about a half corner. The straightaway, you can land a jet airplane on the front stretch.
Then you come down to that tunnel turn, you're headed straight into that wall at about 200 miles an hour, and you better not miss your mark. I have, and it hurts.
You always got to remember at Pocono how fast you're going. 1 slip. That concrete's hard.
Live from Pocono, the Pepsi Arca 200 Saturday and the Pennsylvania 500 Sunday, only on the Superstation.
So, I think I've developed a personal shopping system that anyone can use, and that saves a ton of money. First, you go to the mall, or wherever. Find exactly what you want, code or model numbers, everything. Then you go home, lock the door, go online, go to this credit card called NextCard's website, you type in what you want, they search over 2,000 sites to find the lowest price. You'd be amazed. Sometimes you can find what you're looking for on one site for half what it will cost on another. Now tell me that's not cool.
On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Chipper Jones did all he could to keep the National League from losing this year's All-Star game at Turner Field. Read what Chipper says about his perfect 3-for-3 All-Star adventure in the cover story of the August Chop Talk. Call 1-800-700-CHOP and subscribe to the official monthly magazine of the Braves. 1-800-700-CHOP. We go to the 9th inning here, and Mike Remlinger is going to try to stay the course. He worked a 1-2-3-8, and he will either start the 9th or... Yeah, he'll go ahead and start the 9th. I thought maybe it was one of those things where if they pinch hit, then Bobby would make a move. But they're not pinch hitting, and so Jay Payton, who's 1 for 3 with an RBI single, stands in.
There is action out there, though, in case he wants to go to someone in the pen.
First pitch, low and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Mets haven't had a base runner since the 4th inning. And he was erased in a double play. Outside, 2-0.
Well, I think it's a reflection of their lineup missing key players. Ventura and Edgardo Alfonso specifically.
There's a strike right through there.
There is some talk about Todd Zeile moving over to play third base. He's offered to do that. Or he might even flip-flop positions with Robin Ventura, who would then have some pressure relieved from his shoulder by just playing first base.
The 2-1, low, 3-1 the count. We need no more excitement tonight.
No, don't give them any life.
We'll have plenty of excitement out at the old Chop House tomorrow, where we originate our radio broadcast. Line foul, full count. It's always fun to check in with the fans.
It'll be a hot one out there, to be sure.
You ladies come on by. We always enjoy visiting with you. The 3-2 pitch. Got him. And a good start to the 9th. Remlinger's second strikeout, first out of the inning.
Mike was a little rusty when he came back from the disabled list. Had a little trouble getting ahead in the count. But his last 2 outings have been outstanding. The one yesterday down in Florida, and a good one here tonight. He's retired 4 straight, 2 strikeouts.
Benny Agbayani, the batter. High and away, 1 ball, no strikes.
Sorry to see Kevin McGlinchey back in the clubhouse tonight, though. He had been sent out on a rehab assignment, was throwing well, but his shoulder troubles have creeped up again, and he's going to have his shoulder examined Monday.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. That's a shame. Boy, we've had some guys get hurt this year. And not just the Braves, all throughout baseball. Pitchers are dropping like flies. Arizona's taken a 5-4 lead over Cincinnati in the 9th. Montreal beat Florida 7-3. Cubs 4-2 this afternoon over Milwaukee. Pittsburgh 9-2 over the Phillies, a final in the now. I told you about Arizona and Cincinnati. Cardinals 10-1 over Houston in the 7th. Padres 3-1 over Colorado in the 5th. And San Francisco failed to score in the 1st at Los Angeles. Here it's 3-1. American League, White Sox 9-5 in the 9th over Boston. Kansas City, a final 4-0 over Detroit. Yankees 11-1 over Tampa Bay, a final. Baltimore 9-5 over Toronto, a final. Minnesota 2-0 over Cleveland in the 8th. Anaheim and Oakland just underway. Likewise, Texas at Seattle. That's all the other baseball up to the minute. Here it's 3-2 on Agbayani. And Remlinger delivers. Strike 3 call. 2 up. 3 strikeouts for Mike.
Agbayani's got caught looking twice tonight. Like a changeup out away from him that he gave up on. Too close to take, certainly, in the ninth.
Melvin Mora, the batter, with 2 out, nobody on. He bunts a good one down the first base line. Nobody's going to cover the base. Mora gets a 2-out hit, and that interrupts a long string of base runners retired. 4, 7, 10, 13, 15.
Oh, Bobby and Pat Corrales are talking to home plate umpire Dan Morrison about Mora being out of the box, that he made contact with the ball way out in front of home plate. It appeared from that replay that they were right.
So a runner at first with 2 out. Lenny Harris, the batter. Todd Pratt moves on deck to pinch hit. Low, 1 ball, no strikes. Greg Maddux against Rick Reed tomorrow afternoon. And then on that Sunday game at 8:05, Andy Ashby against Bobby Jones.
That was a pretty good move by Mora with 2 out. You just need base runners. Doesn't matter how you get aboard. And that was a good bunt that caught the Braves by surprise.
Yeah, perfect bunt. High pop, short left field. That should do it for Kyle Lazier. And the ball game is over. And the Braves lead the National League East by 6 games as they beat the Mets by a score of 6-3.
And our AutoZone player of the game is a pitcher, John Burkett, who came in relief of Terry Mulholland, inherited a bases-loaded 2-out situation in the 3rd inning, got out of it, recorded a couple of strikeouts along the way in 4 1/3 innings of 1-hit shutout baseball, and nailed down the last 11 that he faced and picks up the win in the process. John Burkett, our AutoZone player of the game. We'll be right back to wrap it up from Turner Field right after this.
See something really.
Actually looking to come at me hard, but he's got to realize I'm coming at him too. So November 7th should be a good game.
Massachusetts, and anywhere that Michael Jordan plays is a